What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna be going over what it's like to daily a long travel 4runner. Now, there's a lot of people out there that don't have long travel on their vehicles and are curious of what it's like to daily a vehicle with long travel. I myself was one like that, and so now that I've been driving this for about 4 months, I have a good understanding of what it's like to daily drive a long travel 4runner. So today I'm gonna be going over how smooth it is, the steering difference, the miles per gallon difference, as well as just the daily life of just being in this 4runner now that it's long traveled. So to start it off, the first thing I want to go over is going to be the comfort and the steering feel of this long travel 4runner. Right when I got this long travel installed, I could tell right away that there was a huge difference. The biggest difference that I noticed was the steering and the comfort of the 4runner. When I had the long travel installed, when I went on the first drive, I noticed the steering felt a lot heavier. Like, you can barely turn the steering wheel and it will go pretty much in that direction. So that was like the first thing that I noticed. The second thing that I noticed was how comfortable the 4runner felt in the front. Because obviously right now I don't have anything in the rear, but once the rear is done, it's gonna feel like I'm floating on a cloud. So that's pretty much the best way I can describe the front is. It feels like I'm floating on a cloud, it's honestly so nice. I've never experienced anything like this. Even with mid-travel kings, there's still a huge difference, in my opinion, from a mid-travel setup to a long travel setup, especially dailying it. I love it. Honestly, it was definitely worth the money, my opinion. It's one of those things where you don't really know what it's like until you get behind the wheel of one. So I would definitely, if you know someone, or even if you see me at a meet or whatever, you can always let me know and be like, yo, like, what is it like to drive a long travel 4runner? And I'd be more than happy to tell you what it's like. Next, I'm going to be going into miles per gallon and just the gas life of having a long travel vehicle. When I first put the 35s on the 4runner, right away I already took a fat hit. I mean, it literally dropped 5 miles per gallon. I think it was on stock suspension, it was getting about 17 miles per gallon, 17, 18 miles per gallon. But now, after the 35s, this is before long travel, it dropped it down to like 14 miles per gallon. And like, it's just one of those things when you're jumping up tire sizes that it's just gonna happen. Now, when I added the long travel, honestly, it really didn't change a whole lot. Granted, the tires stick out way wider now, but it really didn't change a whole lot. I believe it only dropped maybe 1 or 2 miles per gallon. So now I'm averaging about 13 miles per gallon, like on the freeway, which is honestly not that bad, especially considering that it's not even re-geared. So if I re-gear this thing, then obviously I think it should maybe add another mile per gallon. But still, it's one of those things where when you upgrade, it's a pay to play type thing. So I already knew this going in, and so it's just one of those things that you just got to live with. Filling it up, it's really not that bad, especially out here in Nevada. It's a lot cheaper than California from where I was from. So filling this thing up, it's about $65, which is not that bad, honestly, considering I daily this thing. So dailying it, my commute is about 15 minutes one way, so about 30 minutes, which would be going there to work and back. When it's filled up on a Monday, it'll last the whole work week, and then by the time it's Friday, I'll have to fill it up, which is not that bad, honestly. So it's definitely not that bad when you're driving and dailying a long travel 4runner. I think it's one of those things that could be a misconception, but like I said, you just gotta pay to play. Last thing is just the overall dailying of this long travel 4runner, like just the daily things that you have to do in any vehicle. Like for example, one of the things that I've noticed when it comes to driving this thing, especially on the freeway and on tight roads, is I have this thing in the back of my mind where it feels like I'm getting really close to like a curb or a barrier. And it's one of those things where I never thought about that up until I long traveled the 4runner. And I mean, it makes sense because the front is like already 3.5 inches wider on each side. So it's already wide enough. So whenever I'm driving on the freeway, it always feels like, oh my gosh, like I might hit this barrier if I get like a little too close, or like the wind just barely pushed my 4runner and now I'm gonna hit this curb. So that's like one of the things that I've noticed when driving this long travel 4runner, that it's like a part of my routine now, is like I got to be more aware of my surroundings, which makes me a better driver, but that's just the price of having long travel. Another thing too is parking. Parking is another thing because obviously the 4runner is like way wider now, and so it feels like you're gonna hit a car even though you're really not. You just got to be more aware of like if you're backing up or pulling into a parking lot. So it's just like little changes that you have to do when it comes to having a wider vehicle. Dailying a long travel 4runner really isn't that bad. I think there's just a misconception that when you're throwing this much money into the suspension and you are driving a vehicle that is missing components like sway bars and stuff like that, that it becomes undailiable. And honestly, in my opinion, it really doesn't change a whole lot. It's still pretty much the same 4runner that I once had, that I still have. So honestly, in my opinion, if you're thinking about long traveling your daily, just do it. Honestly, just do it, because it's really not that bad. So if you guys like what you saw or you like what you heard, let me know down in the comments. Let me know too, you know, what else you guys would like to see on this build. And yeah, pretty much sums everything up. So see you guys in the next video. Peace out.